Welcome to Coffee and Popcorn, where we bring you the most striking stories from around the world. In today's story, we have a young man who can't seem to make things work with his girlfriend. And when she gets pregnant, he's not even sure if the baby's his.
About 5 years ago, me and my girlfriend, Alicia, weren't exclusive. We were just casual partners. However, this all changed 2 years later when a close friend of mine passed away. I was very down, and Alicia went from being just a girl I hung out with to someone who was supporting me and going to my family functions. I started having feelings for her after about 6 months, and she felt the same. Fast forward a few years, and I take her on a trip out west. We had a great time, but when we got back, she was acting strange. A week after we returned, she wanted to talk. She stopped by and told me that I was too attached and that she'd been seeing 2 other guys for the past year. After that talk, she walked out on me after almost 3 years. She didn't even hesitate. I didn't see Alicia for about 3 months, and she had the dog that we bought together. I asked if I could see him, not even thinking about her. After coming to my place a few times, she suggested we start seeing each other again. I was interested. We talked about everything and decided to go back to being casual partners. Nothing serious. She did say that she was still seeing one of the guys because he was very nice and she didn't want to end things with him. I asked her if she loved him. She said no, so I agreed to start something up with her. Even though we weren't going to be exclusive, I wasn't going to be seeing anyone else because I was focusing on my career. After a month or so, we started getting close again. I told her that if we're going to date, she has to break it off with this other guy. She agreed, and we moved very fast. We found an apartment within a month, fully furnished, and this was around the 15th of December, and we were supposed to be moving in on the 1st of January. Around the 17th of December, she got a box of chocolates and called me to tell me about it. I told her that it's wrong for some guy to be sending her gifts, and I asked if she was still in contact with anyone. Immediately, she flipped the script and said that I was an idiot for even asking. After that, she avoided me for 3 days, even though we had Christmas plans. 2 days before Christmas, she called and said that we were over. She also said that she never stopped seeing the other guy because she knew that I wasn't being faithful to her. But I was being faithful to her. In the end, I move into the new place by myself. I spoke with the landlord and said that Alicia wouldn't be moving in, even though she's on the lease. The landlord recommended that I charge her a fee to get off the lease. I agreed. I told Alicia the dollar amount, and she said, okay. 10 days later, though, everything changed. All of a sudden, she wanted to be with me again and dropped everyone else. Like an idiot, I took her back and we got tickets to go to Florida on Valentine's Day. Fast forward to the end of January and she stops by to start a fight out of nowhere. She then left my place to stay with her parents. She told me that we could still see each other, but it'd have to be non-monogamous. At this point, I was like, whatever. We still go to Florida for the week, and we actually had a great time, but I noticed a guy calling her phone. I told her that when we get back, she needed to decide whether she wants to be with me or not. When we get home, things are great. Then, around mid-March, she breaks the news. She's pregnant. I have a talk with her, and she said that she didn't see anyone in January and only slept with one guy in February, but he's fixed, so we can't have children. I told her to verify all this with the doctor because I had a business trip out west. I go out west, and she sends me a calendar letting me know that it's a Florida baby. I'm happy, and I soon return home. Her aunt's having a birthday party, but I'm tired and not feeling very well. She told me not to bother and then stopped talking to me. Throughout the whole month of April and a part of May, I keep trying to work on things with her because she's pregnant with my child. Like always, we eventually get back together, but sometime between mid to late May, she gets a UTI but thinks it could be an STD. She asked me if I'd been seeing anyone else, and I said yes. How about you? She said that she saw one guy, and guess who it was? Of course, it's one of the guys who's been in her life for 2 years now. I brushed it off and tried to move forward, but then I started to wonder, what if the baby's not mine? In June, I bring this up to her, and she gets the doctor to send me a letter about when she could have got pregnant. It lined up. If she didn't see anyone prior to going on our trip or when we got back, the baby was definitely mine. She moved into my place and things were semi-normal, aside from the fact that she was always going to her parents' house to spend the night. In September, I got a strange text from an unknown number saying, "He's sorry for any wrongdoing." I asked Alicia if she recognized the number, and she said, "No." and then she told me that both guys had been texting her. I had enough and decided to have a talk with these dudes, but then Alicia told me not to do anything because one of them could be the father. She was 7 months pregnant at this point, and we had a baby shower coming up in 2 weeks. I had to sit through the baby shower trying to deal with everything that was going on. Later that evening, with this pregnant liar next to me, I did something I shouldn't have done. I started texting a few girls because I figured that our relationship was going to end badly anyway. A week after the baby shower, Alicia started a fight with me over nothing, just so she could move out. Eventually, I said she could go. I showed her the messages on my phone, but let her know that I hadn't met up with any of the girls, and I wasn't intending to. I go to Atlanta on business, and 2 days later, she has the baby. The other 2 guys are Asian, so the baby was definitely mine. I talked with her mom and hurried back, but Alicia said she couldn't get hold of me, so she left me off the birth certificate. The baby didn't even have my last name. I think this was all so she could have more control. I tried working through things with her, but she didn't want to. We agreed to co-parent and that I'd do it from her parents' home. After about a month, we started dating again. Her parents sold the house, and I was getting a home for the whole family. I go to move out of my apartment, and Alicia tells me that she thinks she has an STD again. I hadn't left the basement in 3 months, and she broke up with me while I was moving things into storage. I ended up living out of hotels and sleeping on my friends' couches for 4 months. Her parents lose the house sale, and Alicia doesn't give a damn. Oh, and she had a yeast infection, just in case you were wondering. I barely saw my daughter for 6 months, but I paid child support and went through the legal process. Fast forward a little, and we get back together. Again. Alicia moves into my house, and no more than 3 months later, she starts fighting with me over things we both agreed to let go of. And of course, it ends with her leaving and breaking up with me. I think she's back to seeing the 2 guys she was meeting up with before, or at least one of them. I don't think she ever intended on staying with me, and I'll never let my guard down around her again.
Honestly, I don't even have to go into how ridiculous this whole thing was. All I can say is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. If nothing else, this story shows that if you choose the wrong partner, they can ruin your life in ways you can't imagine. I've never known a relationship to work out in which 2 people are constantly breaking up and getting back together. But let's see if there's anything interesting going on in the comments.
Webb says, "This story suits your character very well. Personality, self-respect, determination, etc. Pay alimony and let your child's mother keep sleeping with any man she wants. You must serve as a provider." Nita Reed Design says, "You didn't let your guard down. You just don't have any standards. I really hope you work on yourself, my friend. Oh, and get a paternity test."
There weren't many comments for this story, at least not at the time in which I'm making this video. But honestly, I don't think that people's opinion would stray too far away from what these Redditors said. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Coffee and Popcorn, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.